Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video in SQL Server. Today we are going to learn about what is on update trigger in SQL Server. So in our last session we have learned what is insert trigger in SQL Server. So basically the trigger is an database object that can be used to execute set of operations or stored procedures which will be fired when certain events happens on your table that you have provided the trigger condition. So in this example we are going to learn about what is update trigger. So whenever you provide any update command for your table, if you provided any trigger for the particular table, then the trigger will be fired and the certain operations that you have specified inside the trigger will be executed on the basis of before and after. So the before update trigger is just executed before an update statement happens, or you can also specify the update trigger for your after condition in the SQL Server. Let us see some live examples in our SSMS, and we can just create a few triggers for our tables and understand better. So here I have connected to my SSMS. I am under the sample one database. So here I have a table creation script for the employees table and also few insert statements for this table. Let me quickly create this employees table. So it is already present in the database. So let us name it as employee. Now let's create this table. So that the table got created. Now I am going to insert these values inside the table. So 4 rows got affected. Now let's select the values from this employee table. Select start from the employee. So you can see there are 4 columns: employee ID, the first name, last name, along with the department of the employees. So now I'm going to create a trigger. Create trigger. You can use the create trigger command to create a trigger. Let's name it as create trigger trg update the employee. So we need to provide the on condition, which specifies on which table you are going to create the trigger, on the employee table, and for the after condition, after update happens. So I can provide the as and begin. Inside this I am going to print a statement as the employee updated successfully. So let us give an end command and let's create this trigger. So now the trigger has been created. So let me say once again select this employees table. So here I have employee 3 and employee 4 with the same name and the same department. So I am going to update the first name of the employee with the ID 4. So now let me provide the simple update command. Update the table name and set which I am going to update is the first name. Going to assign this as Emma, and then I need to provide the where condition, where I need to update the employee with the employee ID equal to 4. So when I execute this statement, you can see I got a message that the employee updated successfully. This is a custom message that we have provided in this trigger. So whenever a value got updated in the employee table, this trigger will automatically generates this custom message that I have provided inside this trigger. So whenever I update a value in this employee table, the employee updated successfully command will be shown for me. So we can also automate certain log functions, like you can also create another table, create table, audit update log, and for this table I am going to provide 2 columns: updated value or updated status. which is a varchar, and also the updated time, which is a date time. So now let's create this table. Now the table got created. Let us select the table audit update log. So now you can see that there is no records present in this table. So here I have this update command, right? So let me update the last name for this employee with id 4. So let me provide the last name, and I need to set the name as Watson. So let me now execute this. Before executing this, sorry, I forgot to create a trigger which can automatically update a value inside this audit log whenever I update a value in the employees table. So let me create another trigger. So you can use the create trigger option, and you need to provide the trigger name, trigger update log audit, and you need to provide on condition for which table, for the employee table. And for this again we need to provide the after update condition. I'm going to provide the after update, and we can provide the assign begin. Inside this I'm going to insert values inside this audit update log, and I need to provide the values which is an inbuilt status like update employee update was successful, employee update was successful. So now let me pass the another argument, which is the getDate function, which will returns the current date time value whenever I update this value. So let me end this. So now let's create this table and create this trigger. So the trigger got created. So now I am going to execute this update employee table. So before this, let us select this. There is no record in the audit update log. Once I execute this, you can see there are two rows affected, one inside my employees table and another inside the audit log table. So now you can select the employee table. You can see the employee with the id 4, the last name has been updated, and also you can see this audit log table. There is a row affected which says the update status as employee status was updated successfully with the current date time that I have executed. So you can use this update trigger option to automate your logging functions. So we can also perform the data integrity with this update trigger options. So let me quickly create another trigger for this to handle the insertion values. We can name it as trigger data integrity update. So I need to provide the on condition for which table I am going to provide this. For the employee table, I'm going to specify the employee table, and for after updating a value, I need to provide certain conditions. So we can provide the begin value, and here I'm going to handle the conditions. So let me provide the if condition and exits exist of. I'm going to select the value from the inserted record. We have already seen like this inserted table will contain all the metadata where you have a recently updated value or inserted value, where here I am going to see whether the department are in the specified value or not. So let me provide the not in condition, and I am going to specify what are the departments available. So I need a IT department, and we can just copy this from here, HR and the finance. So let me provide HR here and also the finance value. So if the value is not present in this list, then I need to raise certain errors. So let me provide the begin condition. Here I am going to specify the raise error. In this error function, I am going to give a custom message as invalid update, and I am going to specify the specific number for this error, which is 1, and we are going to roll back the value, roll back the transaction, and after this I am going to end this. After ending this, let me provide another end statement. So I have forgot a bracket here. I think I have provided a semicolon here. So now we just create this trigger. So now the trigger got created, and again we are going to update the fourth record value. So this time I am going to update the department value. So I am going to update the department. I am going to set the value as something like sales. So now when I am going to execute this, it shows an error that the procedure, the trigger data integrity update has raised an invalid update error. We can see the custom error that I have provided in this raise error comment. So it has been displayed as invalid update, and the transaction has ended with the abort statement. So now once again you can select the employees table. So the employee with the ID 4 has still in the finance department, and it has not been updated as a sales department. So if I try to update this as a HR, so this is an allowed department. So we have IT, HR and finance. So now when I execute this update statement, so one row and again one row got affected. This is for the employees table, and this is for the audit. And you can also see the custom message that because we have created a trigger earlier which displays this message. Now let's select this employee table again. So now you can see the employee with the ID 4 has been updated with the HR department. So you can also use this update trigger to handle the validation for your update statements. So you can handle the update values for certain conditions, and you can perform the data integrity for your tables. So you can so while you have created these triggers, what if I have dropped this employee table? So I am going to drop this employee table. So now I have dropped this table. So what about this triggers? So when I try to drop this trigger, now it throws an error that when I try to drop this trigger, it shows invalid action because it shows that it does not exist or don't have permission. So whenever you drop a table that has certain triggers, along with the table, the triggers will get dropped. So you need to very clear that using a trigger for a adequate insert or updating table is not a good approach. You can use these triggers for your audit for log purposes whenever an value has been updated in your table, and you can also perform the data integrity operation for your update statements. So I hope you have understood what is an update trigger and how we can use this in your table, and how you can fire these triggers and handle certain operations like audit and data integrity operations. So let me provide the GitHub link in the description. You can find the solution there and a few exercises for today's session. Please subscribe to the channel and watch all the videos in the SQL Server playlist. Thank you for watching.